Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. And we are definitely going to be talking about money today, y'all. Today, we're diving into something that's making waves in the professional world, and it's called polyemployment. You've probably heard of side hustles, but polyworking takes it a really big step further by managing multiple full-time jobs or roles. But is this sustainable, or is it just a new hustle for financial freedom? Today, we're breaking it down and asking if this is the future for the Black community when it comes to building wealth. We'll talk about the pros and the cons and everything in between. I have a lovely royal court today of queens: Erica Lewis, author of Faith in Transition. We have Aisha Varazi. I always say that wrong, Aisha. I'm sorry. My little tongue just always wants to put a little extra in there because you're extra special to me. Financial expert. And Dr. LaNée, Brand Your Brilliance coach. Hello, queens. Now, listen, all of us know about the hustle. The hustle. We all know about the side hustle. We all have businesses. All of us here have businesses. We understand that. And I don't think that there's anything new under the sun, especially for our community, right? Because when the white world got a cold, we got pneumonia, and that's just how it works for us. So I just want to get your initial thoughts on if you think that this is something new, or are they just renaming it? And I'm going to start with you, Aisha. Do you think this is just like something new, or are we just repackaging something that's already been in our community?
I don't think it's new. I think it's just a rebranding of something that's been happening before. Maybe now it's just the intensity that is different. There's more intensity in it because of what's happening in our communities and in the country. But it's not new.
I don't think it's new either. How about you, Dr. LaNée? And you're pretty red. Look at you.
Oh, look at you got. Is that red or orange you got on?
It's red.
You got the red memo. You got the red memo. Erica got the red glasses, and Aisha, I think you got a little red lipstick on. We got the red memo. I think that my mom worked 3 jobs at one point in time, so it's definitely not. We're not new to this. We're true to this, right? I think that the way that it's being done is different. Back in the day, you had 3 jobs, you kept them hush, hush, and quiet. Now it's real bold and in your face. I'm gonna work from home so I can work these 3 jobs. I think it's the mindset around it is different, and how it's done is different. But the hustle of working 2 and 3 jobs to put food on the table and take care of your kids and your family and do what you got to do, I don't think that's new.
I don't think so either. How about you, Erica?
No, I think it's actually a rebranding. They always do things to rebrand it to make it appealing to the younger generation. So since the word poly is something that's being thrown around with different lifestyles, why not make it polyemployment? So, it sounds really good to put out there on the mainstream by simply rebranding it. But no, it's something that we are used to. And this is what I grew up on. My mother, too, after my parents' divorce, worked 3 jobs, and 2 of them were full-time.
Very interesting. Now, listen, there's also a whole new string of Reddit files that talk about how you can do this, why it's cool. Now, what's kind of different about this? There's always a twist to something new, right? Is that people are working from home, but they're working at the same time in the same hours on 2 and 3 jobs. And there are many, many people who are making well over 6 figures doing this and keeping it on the down low. So there is pros and cons to this, and there's also a kind of a new twist, because when we grew up, it wasn't uncommon for our parents or whatever to have the 2 to 3 jobs. However, they was going to the job in the morning, coming home, taking a deep breath, feeding the kids, and going back out. This is different. This is juggling 3 jobs at one time. But let's check out this video so that we can jump into this conversation, because y'all, this is deep. Well, I think it's
have
coming.
to say that one thing capitalism is always going to do at its finest is try to gaslight all of us into believing that somehow this is desirable. Like the script never changes, just the tactics. Why polyworking is the future of work and how to become a polyworker. Because of course, all of us have this deep-seated desire to work multiple jobs because we cannot afford our most basic necessities like water, food, shelter, clothing with one job. So why work 40 hours when you can work 60 or 80? Instead of addressing the fact that we live in a country where the rising cost of basic necessities like food, shelter, clothes, water is becoming so expensive that even those who are salary employees are living paycheck to paycheck. Whether we are talking about salaried employees or hourly employees, the vast majority of money that most people are taking home does not enable for them to exist. Due to the rising costs, we are now seeing Americans put things like their groceries on buy now, pay later systems. I've said it before, more than 40% of Americans cannot afford a $200 emergency. And this is not sustainable, and they know it, which is why they're trying to convince us to work more versus tackling the institutions and systems that enables for capitalism to operate without any safeguards. And when I say safeguards, I mean safeguards for the average American and not just for the corporation.
I have to agree with so much that she has to say. Why are they trying to make this such a normalized thing? When other people, when so many companies are earning so many bonuses, like the corporate CEO for Starbucks, who gets a private plane, he gets to fly to Seattle every day from Los Angeles. But his workers can barely make it. This is a recipe to me for a disaster, but I would love to hear what you think about this, Aisha. Do you really think that this is a game changer for people, or is this a recipe for burnout?
Total recipe for burnout. When she was speaking, I was just thinking about what she was saying. That isn't it funny how they want to repackage just using you so that you can have no life, nothing. So then before you know, you raise your head up, life has gone by. You don't have anybody that cares about you. You don't have a family. You have nothing. You become like a robot because you're there doing one, do the other, and before you know it, really burnout to the core. So it's very sad that people actually buy this idea, because what are you running away from? What are you running away from? Are you really trying to collect more material things, or are you trying to just block the world out so you can just focus on doing rather than living?
And isn't that living? The key word, living. I don't believe we're being put here just to work 24/7. I mean, there's got to be some joy in your life. We have some viewers that are family who have some comments, and I always like to tap into those. And if you haven't tapped in, family, tap into us. Let us know your thoughts about this poly employment. Is this something that you feel is going to be good for our community, or bad, burnout as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Naomi says, when I work multiple jobs, it's exhausting. Deborah said, exactly, Erica. It sounds very genish. I love that word, genish. Deborah says, I might have to try this poly work. Deborah, do you think that you would get burned out? We have Booker. He's here from Fort Worth. Great day to you too. And we have Tamisha. Good afternoon. It's a dang shame. This is what things have resorted to. Definitely a recipe for burnout. And then Deborah says, so this corporate slavery in the making. Now that's very interesting. Corporate slavery in the making. Erica, tackle that for me.
You know, I remember a few years ago, maybe about 15 or 20, there was a company, and I don't remember the company or where it was, but I remember they had made things so convenient for their employees. They had restaurants on campus, they had gyms on campus, they even had sleeping accommodations for people where they could stay in the event. You know, they had to work late, they had daycare, they had all of these things at work.
Was
And
that Google, Erica?
I don't remember. This was about
Yeah.
15 or 20 years
It
ago.
is.
That's Google, right? Okay.
And
It was
they
Google.
were so accommodating. But then when you sit back and you think, it's like, baby, you're living to work. You're living at work, you're living from work, you're living to work. And the entire world has gone on. I mean, you get to the point where you're working so much, you don't know when it's going to rain. You don't know what the weather is. You know, you look up and it's like, oh my God, it's the kid's birthday again
Yep.
already. You know, everything has gone by because you put yourself in this place of bubble work. And let's face it, we do have to make a living. Absolutely, we have to make a living. However, but when do you start living? You're making a living, but you don't get a chance to live off of what you've made. And it becomes a point of scaling back. We have to get to a place where, you know what, poly work, extra work, it's not going to make it because you still, the more money you make, the more taxes are coming out. Are you really making extra money? So it gets to the point where we have to start reassessing life and say, hey, I'm going to scale back. I'm not going to get my nails done anymore. Hey, you know what? For about 6 months, I'm going to do my own hair. And those things that I would have spent extra money on, I'm going to take that money and still withdraw it and put it to the side and see how much I would have wasted yet kept, and see how we can reapply that money to something else. But, you know, poly jobs, poly careers, it's just not going to work. It's just not.
That compared to his people always wanting to live up to what the Joneses are doing. You know, if they got a Maserati, they want a Maserati too. If they got a 4-bedroom house, they want a 4-bedroom house too,
And, you
even
know,
to their detriment.
one thing that I've noticed is, you know, even the corporations are involved. I called the car dealership to get my oil changed, and they're like, hey, you're eligible for an upgrade. That's so nice of you, but I'm not interested. Thank you. I mean, we have to stop falling into the pit. You know, they open the door and it's up to you to say, you know what? I'm not interested. You don't have to take the new car upgrade. My car is a year old. I don't need to upgrade. I just want my oil changed and my tires rotated. Thank you. We have to get into the habit of saying no. We have to get into the habit of having a complete understanding of where we are financially. Because a lot of people, a lot of us that are doing poly work, poly this, poly that, we have no idea of where we are fiscally. We don't know. So
We're definitely going to tap. You're saying so much. We're definitely going to tap back into that. I just need to take a break real quick because this is really good conversation already, y'all. We ain't even in 15 minutes, y'all. We ain't even in. Keep put your comments coming in. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
We got you. That's what we do. We want you to make sure that you go to the website because, you know, you don't have to work 2 and 3, 4, or 5 jobs. There are answers there for you as well. So please make sure you go to the website, flynubianmoney.com. Now, Erica hit on a lot of great points, but I want to ask you, Dr. LaNée, how does polyworking differ from the traditional side hustle? I mean, we talk about side hustles. Do you think it's more sustainable?
Well, first of all, let me just say I don't want nothing poly. Let me just start that. I don't want no poly relationship. I don't want no poly job. I don't want nothing that got poly on the front of it. Let me just start there. It sounds like a lot of work and I don't want to do it. But to answer your question, I think the difference is that it's what you initially said. It's three things. It's three simultaneous things. Like it's three jobs. A side hustle is literally that it's on the side. I'm going to go to my job and on the side, I'm going to do this. What these folks is doing, I'm going to work 3 full-time jobs from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, continuously, parallel, in tandem, not back to back. What do they call it in jail when you're doing it at the same time? Like they're doing their stuff at the same time. Concurrent. Thank you, Erica. I can read your lips, girl. Yes, that is the issue, which is basically like a poly relationship. I'm gonna date all y'all. We all go together. I'm gonna get all the checks. Now, when I say it like that, it does sound a little bit exciting, but it's a lot of work. And the whole purpose of having wealth is the freedom that comes with it, right? If you got to work 3 jobs simultaneously, do all 3 jobs give you vacation at the same time? So you only get 2? So while you're on vacation, you got to work the 1. Like it just sounds like a lot of work. I think this goes back to what Erica was saying about being financially responsible. Not responsible. Let me not say that. Financially, maybe it's responsible, wise, right? In making proper investments, looking at stock, getting that proper acumen or education so that you can get a quality job. Because I would look at that. What type of job can you have where you can work 3 of them concurrently? Because the jobs that I have, my jobs kept me busy. So what kind of jobs are you working that allow you to work 3 at a time?
I don't want it. I keep thinking back to when I was lured into, and it sounded so lovely when I was helping with a brand new live streaming company in America, and they knew that I had done so well with Periscope and live streaming and things of that nature. And I'm still a full-time real estate agent, but I loved live streaming. So I thought, hey, this is going to be a wonderful thing. Baby, they had me working 24 hours. Why? Because I had to be able to contact the company, which was in China. It wore me out. Then taking my clients out, writing contracts. No, I don't want to know poly nothing either, because my stress level was actually through the roof. And it was not healthy for me. I literally felt like some days I was going to have a breakdown from all of the stress, all of the hands that needed me, my clients that needed me for the contracts, my streamers who needed me because they didn't know how to do something. 24 hours is not healthy, and it's not something that I strive to be. I will never do that ever again. But I do want to check another video out so we can continue this conversation, because there's a lot of aspects to this. Like Erica touched on some great things. Like we ourselves sometimes put ourselves in these situations by letting our own selves fall into holes. And is it really that important to work so hard that you don't have a quality of life? But let's check this out.
Just read an article that pissed me off talking about polyworking. What the hell is that? It's just juggling multiple jobs to stay ahead of inflation. What pissed me off is the article tried to play both sides, giving pluses and minuses, when in reality it's just called being overworked. When I started my professional career in my early 20s, it was enough to live a very comfortable life. That's not the case anymore. I'm damn sure not gonna let fancy phrasing of old terminology change my viewpoint on it. Because there are a lot of different types of currency, dollars and euros, assets that can be converted into currency. But there's really only one currency that matters to people. It's not dollars or gold or crypto or house. It's time. And the more time you have to do the things you love and enjoy, the happier you are as a person and a society. Being a billionaire and working every day, every hour of your life is meaningless. It really just feels like capitalism grasping for breath. Younger generations becoming increasingly skeptical of capitalism being able to succeed in any capacity. Now it's mixed direction terms to rephrase the conversation. Not buying it. I'll do anything to escape it, and leaving the U.S. is the best option at this point.
He said something very interesting that taps into my wheelhouse, y'all. He said he's willing to leave the country for it. And I'm here to tell you that that's not really a popular thing in other countries. I'm back and forth from Portugal, baby. Ain't no Targets or nothing like that there. Okay, like if you a key maker, you are a key maker. If you are a door opener, you are a door opener. If you are a fish seller, you are a fish seller. And that's all you do. You don't do that. And each store is in a different place. So it's not like, you go and get this experience like Target. All right. So why do you think that it's so important for Americans to feel like they need to live this lifestyle? And I'm actually going to throw this to you, Aisha, because you have experience with multiple countries too. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, he said being overworked. And it's so funny when you brought back, being in multiple countries. And it's so true. In a lot of ways, this phenomenon really is uniquely American or for the West. Because when immigrants come to a different country, they're coming for opportunity. That's the first thing in our mind, right? So when we come and they just want to do so much all at once. So then it's more tempting to have this job in the morning and then the other one in the evening because you're trying to, gather money so you can send back home. But then the problem now is that now the culture and society is celebrating that, and not in a good way. Because to me, even the people that some of them that came to this country that I know of, some of them have actually passed away because they overworked themselves. They forget that the body has to regulate itself. So when you're overworking yourself, you're not thinking about your psychological well-being, your health, and your just your spiritual life as well. And before you know it, you go to work, you just drop because your whole body is in shock that you're doing so much. But I think it's a unique phenomena that it's in the West because again, immigrants come, they want to do well, they want to make money. Though people that live here have been living that way as well, but it makes it bigger because more people want to do it and they do it gladly. And so the companies think, oh, this is normal. Let's give them more work. Let's let them stay longer and longer and longer because guess who is benefiting? They are. Why they are flying in their jets and buying new yachts and traveling and getting up maybe at 11 before they even think of what's going to happen the next day. You've already worked 10 hours already. So who's winning here? Right. So the idea is understanding that, wow, okay, there's something going on here. I have to regulate myself. But I think that's where it's coming from. It's a unique thing that happens in the West, and it's because of the opportunity. But now it's getting out of hand because now we have no life. People are not getting married anymore. They're by themselves. There's no family life, and they're wondering, why am I depressed? Why am I not happy? Well, because you're overworking and not having time with family and really being. So, yeah.
Well, you brought up something really good, and I'm actually going to throw this next question to you, Erica, because we have this mentality in America that if you hustle, if you grind, if you do this, you're going to be successful. You're going to be a them. You're meaning the billionaires, right? Or the multimillionaires. We have this mentality of that. So how do we distinguish that passion of us wanting things, and there's nothing wrong with wanting things, with actually running ourselves into the ground?
I think what happens is that we get so focused on what we want and you work towards getting it, getting it, getting it, and then boom, you got it. But nobody ever factors in, how do I maintain it? And you have to work twice as hard to maintain something that you obtained. So if it took you 2 years just to get it, just imagine how much energy that you're going to have to maintain every month, every week, every year to maintain it, to keep it, to sustain it, or it was a waste. So I think that we get we get tunnel vision on what it is that we want, but just completely forget it takes twice as much energy to maintain it.
That's There you go. But then once again, your energy. Listen, y'all, as I get older, my energy is more important to me. My balance of life is more important to me. you know, losing my two sisters, understanding that, you know, you don't really know how long you're here. So every day to me is a gift that I want to honor and still be able to enjoy my work life balance. It's not worth it to me to run myself in the ground. You know, our community, for one, we're already the ones working 2 and 3 jobs, right?
Worn
And
out.
then our health suffers with diabetes, high blood pressure, sugar, everything, you name it, right? These jobs don't care. You're replaceable. And with that being said, we're going to take a commercial.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
You don't have to struggle. We're going to help you build so that you don't have the polyemployment. You can build your own. As a matter of fact, it's advised that you do. These corporations do not care about you. And our producer reminded us of some things, and I want to remind you of just how crazy it is when these corporations and these places run up against losing someone. When the CEO of United Healthcare was killed, they still had a meeting that he was on his way to. And matter of fact, y'all, some of them had to walk over where he was unalived to get to that meeting. But they still had that and they didn't care. And let's not forget about the restaurant owner who went to sleep and she told people she was exhausted. And people were like, well, girl, I was still coming to your restaurant anyway. So she kept pushing herself. And she did that. And she just didn't wake up one morning. So you have to understand that there is something to mind, body, and spirit. We have to feed all of them. And with that, I'm going to talk to you, Dr. LaNée, because you are a brand, your brilliance. And part of being your brilliance is a balance, right? You've got to be able to bring that glow to yourself, but still also get that rest for that glow. So how do we do this in our life? What would you advise us when we do have that ambition, but we also don't want to drag ourselves into the grave?
So the first thing is throw out balance. Like that's the first piece. There's no such thing as a work-life balance. And if there was, you wouldn't want it. Do you want to be at work 50% of the time and at home and enjoying your life 50% of the time? Absolutely not. Harmony is how I like to operate. Harmony. It's going to be a give or take. One week I might have to work really hard, but I'm going to give it back to myself the next week. And so it's like this harmonious swing like this. I know I got a big project coming up. I know I'm going to go hard in the paint. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to give some late nights, but then I'm going to take a week and I'm going to recoup and I'm going to put back into myself so that I'm not just grinding. Also changing terminology. I don't hustle no more. I don't want to hustle. I'm too old to hustle. The hustle culture, hustle terminology. I don't think people realize hustle means hard work. If you're out here hustling, you're out here working too hard. So I don't subscribe to hustle anymore. I've taken it out of my clients' vocabulary too. I had a client, she was like, this is my year to hustle. And I was like, ew. She was like, what? She's like, I got to be on my grind. I was like, you want to work hard all year? I was like, let's come up with a strategy so that you don't have to hustle. People hustle when they don't have strategy. If you have a strategy, then you know what you're doing. And every thought, every yes, it's intentional. Because if it doesn't align with the strategy, then it's a no. I'm going to have to pass. Let me connect with somebody else. And then the other thing is we got to stop we come from, and I say we mean the Black people, Black culture, African Americans, Africans, whomever, this color skin, of overworked and underpaid, as if we work harder, they will see us, and they don't. As if we work harder and we show up more, we'll be promoted, and we don't. As if we work harder, we'll get money, and we don't. So we have to be strategic. Even if you go to work, have a business. And I always say a business on the side, not a side hustle, but a business that you can transition into and that can take you further, that you can invest in yourself. Dr. Boyce calls it FU money. Have a FU business if you need to, right? But I think that's it. Get out of the mindset of hustling and get strategic. Stop trying to balance and be harmonious, and understand that whatever you give to somebody else in your business or in your work or whatever it is that you do, make sure you give twice as much to you.
I think those are very valid points. You just can't come to this world and run until you're in the grave. It's just, and there's nothing wrong with being able to do that on the side. And then why not even take a little bit of that money and like reinvest in yourself into the stock market or something that will also give you a return on your interest. You know, you don't have to spend it because you got it. Matter of fact, I tell a lot of my clients, just because you qualify for $500,000 house don't mean you need to buy one. Okay, if you can get away with one that's 400 and not 5, and it's got everything you need, or maybe not quite everything, let's do that one so that you can have room to breathe. Now, I want to check a couple of stats because, you know, we love to have our stats around here. Let's check some of these out. 40% of U.S. workers are juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet, with an increasing number of Black professionals turning to polyworking as a wealth building strategy. And that's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. 78% of Black millennials are actively seeking multiple streams of income, with many opting for polyworking to achieve financial independence. That's a high number, y'all. 25% of Black workers are involved in polyemployment compared to 15% of white workers. And 73% of people working multiple full-time jobs report feeling stressed with high levels of fatigue and burnout. You are not saying nothing crazy. So listen, I'm going to ask you, Aisha, in your experience, is the hustle for extra income a necessary part of financial security, or is this just a social pressure that we're feeling right now? Or is it something else?
Yeah, wow, I've seen that and trying to understand also why people do the multiple stream of income thing and in a way where it's kind of detrimental to them. I think about that sometimes. And I think sometimes it's because of, again, like Dr. LaNée said, lack of planning. You don't have a strategy. Because if you had a strategy, that should not be your go-to. I want to do multiple work and I want to hustle. That shouldn't be. So it's a lack of strategy and planning and understanding really how money works. Because you cannot work your way to wealth. It's not possible without a strategy. So the mistake is people think I'll work so hard and I'll make money and then I'll do the things that I want to do. But then time passes by, you haven't even gotten there because again, you have no strategy. So I think that having that mindset of the multiple working, has to be maybe retrained. Like Dr. LaNée said, even for our clients, she said, let's think that again. It's something that we have to like come together and rephrase or rethink what that means. Because otherwise, honestly, what is happening is a burnout. Everybody's talking about a burnout. And then before you know it, time has passed. Or even for yourself, the lack of interest in what you're doing because you're not really growing. You're just maintaining. You're not really doing anything better than what you were doing before just because you're working more. Right. So it's truly having that strategy and understanding, why am I doing this? What is the purpose? And is this really necessary? Can I do other things to help me? Because I understand the need for multiple streams of income. I get it. But there has to be a way where it can be done in a strategic way where you're leveraging the other portion of making money, where you have to do it. Right. So you're leveraging rather than you being the one to have to hustle on both ends, because you cannot burn the candle on both sides. At the end of the day, to just We don't
Then
want
it
that.
just gets in the middle and it's completely gone, all melted away,
don't want
right?
Mhm.
So Naomi brought up a really good point. She said, I find myself working extra jobs when I need money for a special project or an investment. My body is telling me to stop. Now, with that being said, I'm going to tag back to you, Erica, because you do have an experience where your body has given you a reaction. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Absolutely. So I worked in the health and wellness space for between about 22 years. And I've done everything from sales operations, but most importantly, I was a fitness instructor and personal trainer for 22 years. And there were times where I actually worked a full-time 9 to 5, but I would go in and teach 3 classes in the morning, then beeline to work and work a full day. Then guess what? After work, I'm going to teach 2 or 3 more classes. And I did that for about 15 to 20 years. And guess what? I now need a hip replacement because of all of that work that I put onto my body. I was in great shape. I mean, mother's waistline was, my waistline was waistline, honey. But now I have osteoarthritis in this right hip from all the jumping, all the kicking, all the squatting, all the punching. There's only but so much your body can take. And I did all of that, in my 30s, my 40s. And, mother will be 52, God willing, in a couple of weeks. And I'm reaping this is my reaping season for what I took my body through. So I'm chilling now. It's like, okay, as much as I would love to go work out in my 50s, I'm on a slow stroll. I just gotta walk gingerly uphill because I took my body through so much. So listen to your body, because there was a time I had broken my foot in the midst of my fitness career, and I went back to teaching with a boot on. Was that smart? Probably not. So it goes back to making wise decisions career wise that's going to benefit you, not just financially, but your health as well.
I agree. I can remember just recently talking to one of my family members. I'm going to keep it neutral. And one of the things with what's going on in our world, she works a government job, and she ended up having a surgery and went back to work too early because she was like, I can't lose my job. So whether it's the government or the corporate, my concern was, how are you truly healing if you are traveling around to satellite positions and you just had back surgery? Now we all know that's the core of your body. Anything with your back and your feet, you're off. And so it was concerning. So is societal pressures, are these corporations even given a second thought when we know that your job could be replaceable? I would love to hear what our audience says about that. When it comes to if you are in a corporate job, when it comes to having surgeries or having time off or having your vacation, do you feel pressured not to take it or to shorten your time just because you want to keep your job? And is anyone else out there, are you feeling like you are overworking? We all know we're underpaid, but are you overworking in that detrimental area that we have? Because it seems like this is a common theme, right? A completely common theme. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back and get right back into this conversation because this is good. See you in a second.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
We got a really good thing going on here, y'all. We're not playing around with this trying to build, no, not trying. We are building a Black directory. I love this part when we get to talk to you about this because I'm really looking for you. And I know everybody on this panel is looking for you too, for something that you do. Send us all of your information, your name, your business, your email, your website, your bio, your phone number, you name it, you send it. It's free. Send it because someone is looking for you, and send it to info@realvirtual.net. Now, listen, we have a really good comment from Tamisha Carey, and it leads right into what I asked. It says, I know a couple of people who died on the job, and within a matter of days, that job position was posted as available. These corporations don't value our personal time, so we have to. And then Armando says, yep, we work harder and get treated like a robot. Yeah, I agree with that. I really do because, with these CEOs, and we see it every day, them getting these triple and quadruple bonuses for just being. I'm not saying that CEOs don't earn what they do, but it just seems awfully out of balance compared to the hard workers that are helping them to get those. So, Dr. LaNée, I need to ask you this. Do you think that polyworking is a sign of financial insecurity or a strategic move toward your wealth building? Do you think there's a time and place for it?
I think it depends on the person. I think it's both, not either. You know what I'm saying? I think that if you're not making enough money, it's because I need it to live well. I think if you're doing well, it's because I want to keep doing well or I want to do investments. So I think it can be both. I don't think it has to be either or. I would say if it were me, I definitely want to be on this side over here where it's more investment, quality of life type of a situation, opposed to I have to do this in order to survive. So I think it's both.
I think you're right because it also depends on the situation. Like maybe you're trying to get your foot in a different type of industry and you still have to hold on to one. It's definitely a really interesting take because what I find most interesting about this is we're not like I said, like we said at the top of the hour, we're not talking about having one job during the daytime, coming home and probably getting a cat nap if you're lucky to get that and the meal down in you, and then going to another one. We are talking about working two jobs simultaneously. That has got to be taking a toll on your mental. How do you balance that? How do you keep those together? How do you don't accidentally answer one manager what happens when you get a meeting that's at the same time? The stress of that to me seems like it's completely so ridiculous that I can't even imagine. So Deborah says,
I gotta have like 3 computers going because these new jobs, remote jobs, you have to move the mouse has to be moving X amount of time. That's how they catalog if you're at work. So they definitely have to have 3 computers going. My cousin worked this remote job one time, and she had it on her laptop. So everywhere we went, she had that damn laptop. We would be out getting our nails done. She had that laptop moving that little mouse. I'd be like, girl, what you doing? She was like, I'm at work right now. And I'd be like, oh, okay. That's what we doing out here. We just take the laptop wherever we go. We working. She'd be like,
Dr. LaNée, listen to that. What's your quality of life? You're trying to have fun for you. And then, oh my God, what if I forget to move the mouse? I mean, to me, Lala's little heart, her little mind can't take it. It just makes my brain want to melt. It's just too much for me, and I'd like to hear, is that too much for y'all viewership audience? We want to know, fam. Like, is that crazy? I mean, is this supposed, because now, guys, we're kind of like making it a norm because a lot of these articles that are coming out, they're kind of acting like this is what it's going to be. The Jedi man trick. This is how life is going to be. You're going to work 3 and 4 jobs at one time and you're going to like it, right?
What's the opposite, Lala? You're going to work the 3 jobs with the computer and AI is going to work the one for you.
There you go. Like, and me, I love AI and I hate it at the same time. God help me. Y'all see how conflicted I am, right?
These computers is coming. They're coming.
They're coming. They are coming. It's already taken over the music industry. We've got artists that aren't really artists anymore, trained on other artists. But Deborah says, my friend worked 15 years as a manager for MGM, where she stood on her feet 24/7. She developed a tumor in her foot after her surgery. She was fired. She couldn't stand for very long. Now, Erica, I'm going back to you on this before we go into our last video. You know, she couldn't work anymore. So is the symptom also the poison? What are your thoughts on that?
It really is, because what happens is when you're burning the candle on both ends, guess what? You're eating out more. And I'm not talking about a sit down meal. I'm not talking about you going to a 5-star restaurant and getting small portions. No, you're pulling up at the drive-throughs of Wendy's and McDonald's. You're pulling up at the drive-throughs of White Castles, and you're literally eating on the go. For people that are working, having these poly employments, I encourage you, take a look at your car. Look at the inside of your car, and the inside of your car will tell you what your life looks like. Because when we are going from one end to the other and we're not taking a break, your house and your car and the state of it tells you what's going on. If you need to go and get a garbage can and clean that car out, that means whatever's going on inside that car is going on inside of your body. You're not taking care of that car, you're not taking care of that body. If you haven't cleaned your bathroom in 3 months, guess what? You're not taking care of your body. Everything around you, the state of it, the cleanliness of it will give you a clear indication as to what's going on with your own physical body.
Stop coming for me, Erica. You don't be having to put my business like that in front of these people.
You're telling on people, Erica. Because let me tell you what,
these people don't need to know my business.
All of my receipts in my car was
everything. But that was
food.
me. That was me. That was my life. I was on the go. I would literally get up, go teach 3 classes, go to work, change my clothes. I wore black all the time. I had no color. So you couldn't tell where I was coming from and where I was going. Work all day, get in that car at 5 o'clock, and I was teaching again at 5:30 until 9 o'clock. And then I had clients on the weekends. And I did this for 7 days a week for 15, 20 years. When does it stop? And my car was always a mess. Always.
Dr. LaNée, she step on your toes too, huh?
Girl, I'm like, let me go get my car washed today.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to go look at it again, right? Listen, we got another video before we dive back into this. So let's check this one out. This is good, y'all. I think we all struggle with this at some point.
Forget quiet quitting. According to the Telegraph, the newest trend that you need to know about is polygamous working. Now, what's different with this trend is that people are working a couple of jobs and not telling their main employer. So this particular article talks about an individual who has 2 jobs. They're pulling in 130k a year and they're about to take on another role. So that's quite significant amounts of money. And I suppose why I say what's different is that, you know, we've all had to make ends meet and work more than one job to just make sure that we've got the money coming in. But typically people aren't hiding that. Now, this article talks about how since COVID, people have taken on more roles and how that kind of impacts the world of work. And I suppose from a contractual perspective, if people are doing this, most contracts, well, I say most contracts, when I draft a contract, I make sure there's a clause in there that says, you know, if you want to work somewhere else, that's cool, but let us know, and we need to make sure that you're not working more hours than you should be and that you're looking after yourself, right? So there is a potential contractual issue here, but also, don't get me wrong, I understand that people need to make ends meet. So what do you think of this new trend? I mean,
I think we've been telling a lot about what we think of this new trend, and I think it's for the birds. I think that they are trying to set us up with this Star Wars Jedi mind trick, telling us this is what we're supposed to do. Because you know what? Out of the mouths of the evil ones, and I said that, didn't I? They always tell the truth and tell you in front. To me, that's how they grease the way, make it come on just a little bit easier. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with working 2 jobs, right? And then all of a sudden, there's nothing wrong with working 2 jobs at the same time. We have got to get out of this robot mentality. But Aisha, do you feel that with this happening, that there's a stigma around having multiple jobs, especially when it's not really a traditional side hustle? Because these kids are working, most of these people are working same time.
Yeah. I don't think it's even a stigma. I think people are thinking, oh, how can I do that so I can make more money? And that's the sad part, because people think it's good to have multiple jobs. You're so overworked, you're so busy, you're so hurried. I'm here, I'm there. It means that they're important, or it means they're doing well. And it's the contrary. It's not true, right? But even just into what you were saying, that contractually you say you're going to do something. So there's actually also deception there. You're saying you'll do something, but you're not. Imagine if you would want to hire someone to work for you. Imagine, because we're business owners, right? All of us are. And then the same person saying they're working for you, but they work for somebody else simultaneously. That's deception, number one. And then also there's more chance to make more mistakes, right? Because what you're asking them to do, they may not do it right because they're focused on something else. They're not sure which one. And then before you know it, the contract you give them is now shoddy work. It's not good work that is being returned back to you because they're not even thinking. They're just doing. There's no thought process. So it's a funniest thing, and the stigma is not there because people think they're doing well. They think, yeah, it means I'm well. It means I am up there with everybody. I'm busy. I'm successful. Me personally, that to me is not success. I'm sorry. If you are overworked, you can't even think straight. That is not success. That just means that your priorities are misplaced, or you don't have a plan. Because if you have a plan, it's strategic. You have time for rest, time for work, and then you have time for your life. Otherwise, before you know it, it's either you drop dead, or the things you're thinking you're going to get, you get sick and you can't even enjoy it at all. So, but the stigma is not there. People think it's the right thing to do because they want to make money. That's my perception.
You know what's really interesting? While you were talking, it reminded me of myself starting early in my 20s with vision boards. Now, there's nothing wrong with vision boards, nothing at all. But my initial vision boards don't look anything like my vision boards today. When I was in my 20s, I had the big house on there. I had my favorite. Listen, I'm not a Maserati girl, y'all. I'm a Beetle. I love Beetles. I like convertible Beetles. That's what I wanted, right? But everything on there. I had a check for the $1 million. I had, the awards for doing this. And there's nothing wrong with ambition. But as I got older and as I started seeing that those material things were just not bringing happiness, that's not what was going to make me happy. What was going to make me happy was to live in my life purpose. My vision boards changed. All right. I have 2 or 3 things on my vision board that bring me peace, and they all center around music. And I absolutely am leaning into that. And I don't care to be Beyonce on the stage. I think as we grow older, we start to see the value in life. And this is why we hear our elders used to say, "Ooh, if I could just bottle that," right? Remember they used to say that, all the energy of the kids, if I could just bottle that we would have a better life. So, before we head into our final thoughts, I want to ask you all a question, because this seems like this is happening more and more. People are trying to normalize it. So as you guys start to give your final thoughts, I want you to answer this question. As we are now, as our age, we can see hindsight so differently. We can give the advice. But what is it that we can do to help the next generation understand that this is not a normalized way of living life, and that quality of life is better than what they're forcing upon us today? I'm going to start with you, Dr. LaNée, because I would love to hear that, because you've got that way of bringing our brilliance out. How can we teach the next generation that this is normal?
Well, I don't even know if we have to. Corporate's going to do it. Corporate does not like it. Corporate does not want this poly employment. They don't like it. They don't want it, which is why I think a lot of these corporations are saying you got to come back in the office now. I think we're going to start to see remote work dwindle, which is going to be, I see people are fighting it already. Like, no, I don't want to come back into the office. Well, of course you don't, because you want to be able to go get your nails done and get paid and move your mouse around. But I think that's why people are going to come back in. So that takes me to what Anonymous was saying. We actually agreed on something, which is you can't be replaced when you do good work, when you show up, when you can brand your brilliance, right? That's one of the reasons why I love what I do as a vision execution strategist, is helping Black people learn how to take what they know, their expertise, what they do well, and brand it. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to brand your brilliance. I now work with entrepreneurs, executives, and enterprises because branding your brilliance literally just says, this is what I do well. You can't get nobody to do this like me. I'm the best customer service agent. I'm the best manager. I'm the best fitness instructor. I'm the best whatever you are. And this is what I do brilliantly. And this is why you should hire me, promote me, or pay me to do it. If we get to a space of that, where we understand our talent and our skill and we understand what we do brilliant, we don't have to worry about being poly-employed, because we can go to one employer and say, pay me what I'm worth. And this is what I'm going to work, and this is how I'm going to work. But we don't necessarily operate in that. We operate in, I'm going to go where I can make some money, and then I'll do whatever they need me to do, whether that's something that you do brilliantly or not. And so my final thought would be to brand your brilliance, right? You do something that nobody else can do. Do it well. Don't cheat yourself. Don't hustle. Don't work twice as hard to get half as far. Don't overwork and get underpaid. Like, take your talent, your skill, your brilliance, what you do, someplace where they're going to appreciate it and where they're going to pay you for it. And if you don't know how to do that, get in contact with me at I am Dr. LaNée Vet, and we can do a brand your brilliance strategy so that we can figure out what you're brilliant at and who will pay you what you're worth.
Now, what y'all didn't catch, or maybe you did, as she was telling you this, she got that little sparkle in her eye. She gets this little side thing and she goes like this. And that sparkle goes bling, because she knows exactly what she's talking about. She can help you brand your brilliance. Please don't miss the opportunity to call and at least have a consultation so she can talk to you to help you get on the right path. She told you how to reach her. Now your homework assignment is to do it. Now, Aisha, my question to you is, you're our financial expert. So I would like to know what you would advise for those who feel like, for at least the time being, that they need to do this. How can they phase it out where, once again, maybe you might have to do it for a short time? How can they maximize having two incomes to help balance them get it forward?
Yeah, this is such a great conversation today that we had. I'm really grateful we had this. And, work is necessary. It is something that we have to do. It's necessary to provide for our families and to make sure that we enjoy the life that we want. So work is necessary, but also is rest and restoration, right? So we have to find ways to rest and make sure that, we're back on track so we can really continue to do what we want to do. I think for me, the key is understanding financial concepts. If you understand financial concepts and the fundamentals of finance, it then to help you have a strategy. So this way, you're working with a purpose and a plan in place. And so, if you were thinking about, wow, well, how do I do that? How do I know that I'm working the right amount of time? Am I overworking, or is this necessary? Really, just get the help you need. If you want to brand your brilliance, talk to Dr. LaNée. She will help you. And if you need help understanding, well, this is how much I make. Am I doing good? Can I now pivot? I can help you understand that as well. But more importantly, if you really believe in working multiple jobs, just leverage, right? Do what you want to do, but then leverage the rest. Let other people, work with you side by side, so you're not always there, but you're also getting the benefit of being there. So it's about leverage. So if you want to, find me, I can help you with any of those, financial concepts, understanding how to leverage. Just find me at aishaverzi.com, or also the Black Business School.
She said the key words, Black Business School. Y'all know what to do that. Please make sure that you reach out to her. She is our financial expert. So listen, nobody is saying that it's wrong that you sometimes have to maybe work two jobs, but there is a way that you can leverage that for a time being where you don't have to do that again. So Aisha is going to help you with that. And let me tell you, in hindsight, I wish somebody would have taught me that when I was in my 20s and not my 50s, because we didn't talk about those things in my household. So it's never too late, but go ahead and get yourself started so you can help the next generation. All right. Now, Erica, you talked a lot about how you've done this. You've worked yourself to death, right? And so much so that you are still now dealing with it physically. I would love to hear your advice for those who are starting off or even considering something like this, on how they can prioritize their selves and their mental and their physical even if they have to do something like this for just a little while, because I want to be realistic. This is why I'm asking you all, I know sometimes we have to do it. We've all done it at some point. So how can they prioritize their mental and their physical, Erica?
Very simple. I worked in health and wellness, like I said, over 20 years. And anybody that's ever worked in health and wellness, or if you've been CPR certified, you know what an AED machine is. It is the machine that's used in the event a person is having a heart attack, and it can help with reviving them. And I have applied this method in my life. AED, accountability. Be accountable for you. We're taking on all these responsibilities from other employers. You have to be accountable for you, because if you're not okay, you're not going to be able to work. Working in excellence, everything that you do, be excellent at it, be excellent, but also treat yourself in an excellent manner. Because again, how you treat you is how you're going to treat your assignments. And another thing, be disciplined. Be disciplined enough to say, hey, you know what? I have worked 35, 40, 45, maybe 50 hours this week. And guess what? I'm going to carve out some time for me. You have to put yourself first. It is so important. If you don't put yourself first, my gosh, you're going to be pushed on the back burner. And when you start pushing yourself on the back burner, that's when problems ensue. And yes, I need a hip replacement. And I thank God it is not the end of life. It's the beginning of life. I get new hips. But, if I had taken care of myself, if I had put myself first and just listened to my body 15, 20 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here needing some new hardware to go in my hips. So it's really important that you listen to yourself, listen to your body, and hey, give yourself a hug, sit back, and trust me, like we said, if you are bringing that much value to that place, they're going to listen to your body as well, give you a break, and welcome you back with open arms.
I absolutely love that. Now, where can we find you, Erica?
Oh my gosh, you can find me at faithintransition.com and across all socials at Miss Erica LaNée.
There you go. We are so glad to have you back. We missed you so much, Erica. We really did. I'm so glad to see your beautiful face today. Here is my final thought. Listen, don't let America corporate people tell you what you need to do and what you must have. Don't fall into that deep pit of feeling like you must have material things. Now, we understand that a lot of the times our community is working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. So sometimes you have to do those things, but understand that you don't have to burn yourself all the way out where you don't have any kind of quality of life at all. My suggestion is to do something every day. One thing, even if it is just this. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to share it with you. It's actually kind of private, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I just need a few minutes to myself because the world is heavy, I got bubbles. And I literally sit on my patio and I blow bubbles. Not only does it give me joy, but the people who walk down my street, they see the bubbles and they smile too. Remember, quality of life is the most important thing in your life purpose. Don't let anyone tell you that any different. Now, if you want to, because we had a couple of you guys say, I'm ready to leave. I'm leaving America. I got you. I got you. So you can go to my website, www.laurakey.net. I have a quiz, and it is a quiz that's going to help educate you on where you are in that process. Are you ready now? Do you still need some work, or is this life for you? Because it asks you some pretty tough questions and gives you some really good solutions. So go and download that free quiz today at www.laurakey.net. Also known as Lala, International Real Estate Agent. We are thanking you, family. This has been a really good conversation, and it's always a good conversation because y'all join in. Like Anonymous, he was here. We love you, Anonymous. I didn't get to hit you today, but we did mention your name. C. White, Javier, Deborah, LJ, the King of Bakersfield. We have Booker. We have Tamisha. We have so many people, Dennis Sproggins, and just people who come in every day and support us. We don't take that lightly, and we truly appreciate you. So we thank you for being here today. And this was a really powerful discussion. So polyemployment is definitely a financial strategy that's changing the game for some people. But is it but it's clear that it's not without its own challenges. The key takeaway for today is that while polyworking offers opportunities for financial growth, we have to balance it with sustainability, health, and well-being. So thank you for tuning in today to Fly Nubian Money. We'll see you next time, which is tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And remember, keep your mind right and your money right. And always keep the hustle to happiness, because there is a balance. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Bye.